Hello and welcome back to Solo Camino. This episode I'm going back to Iowa, and I really do enjoy Iowa. It's a place I've lived for until I sold my house recently for about 20 years, really about 18, but close to 20. And I do enjoy the windmills. I enjoy the rolling prairies that are now filled with cornfields. To me, it is just a beautiful place that until I lived there, I never understood just how beautiful Iowa is. At this time of the year, you can still see the dead fields or the barren fields before the corn really starts to come up like it does later. But you can get an impression from all the green and the trees beginning to bloom, just how beautiful it can be in Iowa, especially in the summertime. I won't talk about the wintertime, but in the summertime, the wintertime can be beautiful during some moments, but it is awfully cold in Iowa. But I'm here in the summertime. That makes me happy. So I'm heading back to Mount Vernon. I also love the farms and the roads and the country boys. This is the Chalk the Walk for Mount Vernon. These are just random pieces of artwork that people make on this holiday that they have at this festival. These were random ones I picked. They weren't the best. They were just the ones I happened to pick to take a picture of. This one was the Laramie Project. If you know, you know. And I can't even see what that one was. This is the one that I did along with The Humanist, The Unfinished Democracy. We really like that idea for 2026, to the 50th anniversary. This is the Sutliff Bridge. This is where I met John and Carolyn and their family for Mother's Day. It was built in 1897. The reason this is so important to me is one of the spans came down during the 2008 flood, and it was rebuilt by people, by contributions, and then by the local government. There was also a grant I think they got from the federal government disaster. But if you look at the steel, you can see that I'm on the old part of the bridge here. You can see the new railing they did put in. But you can look at that steel and you can tell that is an old bridge. This is the newer one, the newer span. You can see the steel on it and see how it is newer. 1/3 of the entire bridge came down during the flood, and it was all rebuilt. This is Sutliff General Store. Now it's a restaurant. That's Carolyn at the end, and John, and the flowers. We sat on the table for a while. When lunch came, we moved in closer. And this is where more of her family showed up, her daughter, her granddaughter, her two daughters, her granddaughter, her son. That was my lunch, fried bologna sandwich. I forgot that the bridge came down on Friday the 13th on 2008. It was nice to remember that. Or not to remember it, but to remember the day. I headed back to my RV. This is the trip. I decided to take a little hike. There's a trail near the RV where I was staying at the time. And I like this trail because it goes from the RV campground all the way down through a forest. And then when you get down to the end of the forest, you find yourself, you're on the edge of the lake. But it just doesn't go into the lake. It actually is a bluff that you walk along. It's a little bit back up the side of the hill from the bluff, but you eventually find these viewing points. You can walk down to these viewing points on this bluff and get these really nice views. Are these the most majestic views I've seen just this spring in the last month? No. But do they warm my heart? Do I actually have a photograph I took from this spot last year as a backdrop to my Zoom calls? Yes, I do. I like that view. It's just so peaceful and nice. And occasionally you'll get speedboats going up the lake. Then I decided it was time to head back up to the RV. And so I had just simply, all you can do is you take the trail back up to the RV, across this little bridge from where there's a washout. It is a beautiful forest. This is Timmerman Supper Club. It's where John and I have gone for our birthday dinner, and Ashley's as well, for years, if not decades now. I love this place. It's like the 1950s and 60s. That's when it was made. It's a supper club. They have dancing on Friday nights. This is John's happy place. You can see the Mississippi River from the view while you're eating. The food is really delicious as well. You can see the style of the building, that very 1960s style. Here we are crossing back over into Iowa, into Dubuque, from East Dubuque, where Timmerman's is in Illinois. You cross the Mississippi River. There's the sign that says, "Welcome back to Dubuque, i.e. Iowa." And now we're back. One of the things I noticed I haven't done is I haven't showed people much about where I stay often. So this is the view from my RV. I really do enjoy these views. I haven't showed you the interior, I think, at all, if ever. So I decided I'd do that. This is my setup. This is where I sit and work every day as a remote employee. I have my computer screen up doing my editing there, but you can see my TV behind, my 3 computer screens. I also decided I don't show people. One of the things I get asked is how you do your laundry. I don't go to laundromats. I have this little portable washing machine. You see it plugs into 120 volt on the side of my vehicle. I take it over, I plug it in. I use it as my dirty clothes hamper, so I throw my dirty clothes in it. I do it twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays. You put water in it, about 4 to 5 gallons of water. You do 2 cycles. And after you get an amount of water in there, you just put the water down, you shut the lid, you turn it on, and it begins to agitate. It agitates for about 10 minutes. I personally go through 3 agitation cycles. I don't know why it doesn't allow you to do it for 30 minutes. I don't understand that. Then you drop the hose and you drain it. I use a biodegradable soap so I can just drain it right into the grass. I don't have to worry about that. And there's my clothes. And then I hang them up inside and with a heater and let them dry. This is John and I took another trip, a little Saturday afternoon. We went up to Effigy Mounds, which is up in the Three Corners area between Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa. The people behind were protesting cuts to the National Park Service. I thought that was nice. And then we walk up the trail to the Effigy Mounds. These are the first Effigy Mounds you see right outside of the visitor center. What I forgot is how tall the hill was that overlooks Mississippi River here. I gave John my hiking stick when I noticed he was starting to slow down, and he was struggling a little bit. I actually began to be worried about John, and luckily we found these benches, and John was able to take a rest. John had had a heart attack in the last couple of years and hadn't had any surgeries yet, and he was struggling, but he made it to the top, and I was so proud of him for making it to the top and not dying on me. But he survived. I felt so bad for putting him through that. And we got to the top and we were rewarded with these amazing views. These are the Effigy Mounds on the top. They're the ones shaped of animals, bears, and eagles. And this is our view we were rewarded with. I actually like the view more than the mounds. I just think that's just an incredible view. It's just, John showing me where Pikes Peak is, the first Pikes Peak before the latter one was discovered, the famous one. And then it was all downhill for John. When he got here, we met Ashley. She had a hiking stick, so of course her and I sat there. She commented on my hiking stick. I talked to hers and I got her permission. She was taking a break from her twins and going on a hike. I thought that was wonderful. And then on the way back, we had to stop by the Pink Elephant. This was built in, I think, the 30s. And then one of the last things I did was I had a meeting with my humanist and we were served Turkish coffee. Thank you, Samira. And I really did enjoy the Turkish coffee. I don't like coffee, but I like Turkish coffee. Again, thank you for watching this episode of Solo Camino.